Hi, this is Simon from the Bracketeer at South OC Cars and Coffee. I am with
Matthew.
And he's got our car of the week this week. What is it, Matthew?
It's a 64 Imperial.
Yeah, and this thing's got a little bit of interesting movie history behind it. Let's swing the camera around and have a look.
Okay. This car was in a movie in 1964 with Anne Margaret and John Forsythe.
Yeah, I'm just looking at that. A Kitten with a Whip. I don't think you get away with a movie title like that these days, Matthew.
No.
So, great looking car, 64 Imperial. How long have you owned the vehicle?
About 6 months.
Okay, and how did you come to own a movie car? Did you set out to buy a movie car, or this just happened to come along and you...
No, it was a friend of a friend that knew somebody that had the vehicle and they wanted to sell it, so I bought it.
It's a really interesting car. And had you been into this car before you bought it? Like, was it something you're into, or you just saw it and went, I like it and I'll buy it?
I like it and I bought it.
That's excellent. If I may just open the door.
Absolutely.
I love the interiors of cars in this era. I mean, just the chrome work and the instrumentation and the detail. Electric windows. Notice it's also pillarless, so that when the windows go down, there is no pillar. So you've got all of this section through here is completely open. Bench seat in the front that tips down into an armrest. These cool looking mirrors mounted here. This is a great car. I mean, I even love little thing, but look how the windscreen wipers are opposing. In other words, the passenger gets an equally clear view through the windscreen as the driver does. And then this front end, which just looks so cool. I mean, it's reminiscent of a Continental cross with a Pontiac GTO, isn't it?
The designer of this car, Elwood Ingle, worked for Ford Motor Company and designed the Continental. Then transferred to Chrysler in '61.
Yeah, right.
Started designing this, so that's why it's reminiscent of what
the
Continental looks like.
And you know what's interesting? I've always said the Continental was the first car that broke away from that bubble look. And if you look at those early Continentals compared to what everything else Chevy, Chrysler were producing at the time, they were miles ahead of their time. We had a Chrysler New Yorker here the other day, '61. And that car was still very much an old bubble top. You would have sworn it was a 56 or a 57. It was our car of the week. Then I remember the story from him telling us that they got the Ford designer, and all of a sudden their cars started to look like the modern cars of the time. So what's it got from an engine standpoint? What's it running?
It's 413 cubic inch, which was the big engine for Chrysler.
Yep.
Developed into the 440.
Okay, so that's what went into the 440. That's really, really cool. So great that it's got the movie history. Great that it also didn't get written off in the movie. I'm sure they probably had a second car that they ended up damaging them.
If you look in the picture there, they used the Dodge for the car.
Oh, did they? Yeah, isn't it funny? They didn't have to worry about people hitting pause on their set-top box anymore. But even these days, when I'm watching shows where a car rolls or jumps, I always like to hit pause on the underside, and you'd be surprised how many cars flip that have no tail shaft, no engine, no gearbox. Great lines on this thing. I think actually as I walk past it, I said it was, in fact, I might have said it's a Continental, So I'll have to go back through my weekly video and have a look. But what a great looking car. It's just everything about this car really imposing. And I've got to tell you, the man that told me to make this car of the week, by the way, I was walking around looking what to find. Tom Shaughnessy. Tom's the guy who brings the most rare cars to this show. So that just him having his endorsement, it was huge. So there we have it. Matthew, as our car of the week, you win this really cool Maguire's complete kit. It's got the polishing sponge, cleaner wax, scratch remover, car wash, glass cleaner, interior detail, hot shine foam. I use all of this stuff on my car. You are going to keep this beautiful car looking as beautiful as it currently does. So there it is, our car of the week, a movie car from a movie called Kitten with a Whip that featured Anne Margaret and John Forsythe. Congratulations.
Thank you.